Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be dissertating and talking about having a Pisces Sun and a Scorpio Ascendant in a natal chart. Now, these signs are compatible by sign. They are both water signs. They're both feminine signs, suggesting introversion. And when you look at this, what they have in common is they're both can be strongly about solitude and seclusion. They're both secretive. Pisces likes to get away sometimes and have their own private time and kind of escape from the trials and tribulations and vicissitudes of everyday life. And they go maybe into their room or grab maybe a fantasy or fiction novel, for example, play a video game. And Scorpio rising can be strongly about solitude and seclusion, can be very private and secretive, and really doesn't like to divulge a tremendous amount about themselves. That could be a vast understatement. And the thing about this is this could be a very, they both can have very strong emotions. The Pisces Sun, the emotions for Pisces sometimes can be at least close to all-encompassing, if not so. The Scorpio rising does not like to show that emotion, however, and the emotions will be more controlled, at least superficially. However, if you hurt this person's Pisces Sun can be sensitive, the Scorpio rising may hit back with that Scorpio sarcastic sting, caustic sting, so to speak. And having a Scorpio rising, this will give more fixity and purpose and more direction, and will be a little bit more resolute, willful, maybe even to some degree, and will be more, I would say, give it more persistence to the generally, to sometimes wavering and vacillating, changeable Pisces Sun. Now, in a natal chart, the Sun in the natal chart represents our basic wants, while the rising sign or ascendant can represent the manner or method in which one attains these basic wants. So, for Sun and Pisces, the basic wants can be connected with their dreams, their ideals, self-sacrifice, fantasy, escape. And when I say escape, I don't mean like in the real derogatory or derisive sense. I mean like in a real, like, kind of, they often may go into their solitude. They like their seclusion and just getting away just from the general vicissitudes of life, and often things that are spiritual and or the metaphysical. So, and having a Scorpio ascendant, well, this person may attain one or more of these Sun and Pisces basic wants with their emotional intensity, perhaps maybe by being incisive, being resourceful, showing a lot of tenacity, often ability to bounce back from adversity by being resilient. It could be the person who goes after aspires for toward their dreams, Pisces Sun dreams and ideals, and may have a number of setbacks, but kind of like the person that falls off the horse and gets back on it in Scorpio rising fashion, it can show that resiliency and that ability to rise from the ashes, so to speak, and be able to bounce back and tackle the project once again. And it could also be through maybe like a Scorpio rising, perhaps some kind of metamorphosis or transformation in their own way. So whether it would be through an outlook on life or what have you, it could be done, and you might see the self-sacrificing side of Pisces be done with that Scorpio rising emotional intensity, and by being able and showing perhaps a lot of Scorpio like persistence with this, and really, and Scorpio rising can really have that indomitable will and spirit. And the thing about it is that could very well help the Pisces Sun attain those dreams, their ideals, or even perhaps in some cases maybe some things connected with spirituality and or the metaphysical. So I wanted to say one thing. It was interesting to see that actress Jennifer Love Hewitt has the Sun in Pisces and a Scorpio ascendant. And it's funny, I've talked to you about this previously in other videos. Many of you may know from what I've said before in other videos, that it seems like a lot of actors and actresses, at least on a subconscious level, may be drawn to characters that seem to fit maybe their persona to some degree and their astrological attributes and characteristics. Well, and on the show Ghost Whisperer that starred Jennifer Love Hewitt, she played somebody that was solving mysteries in connection with the paranormal. And the paranormal can be strongly associated with the sign Pisces, which is her sun sign. Her rising sign Scorpio. Scorpio rising can be often about enamored with solving mysteries. So you get the idea. So she really, it's just very uncanny how this works out in many instances. Well, anyway, it's important to look at the aspect, if any, that is made between the Sun in Pisces and the Scorpio Ascendant, as this could indicate how these energies may integrate well or perhaps not integrate as well. Well, in many cases, I mean, as you know, the signs are trine by sign, and in many cases you will have the trine aspect between these energies. Now, let's say the Pisces Sun is at 21 degrees and the Scorpio Ascendant is at 20 degrees. Well, this would form a trine aspect, which is auspicious and positive, and you could have an even better positive integration and blending with these two energies. Now, however, you could have an out of sign square aspect or out of sign inconjunct aspect take place between these energies, which is adverse or adversarial. Let's say for an out of sign square aspect, you could have a Pisces Sun at 1 degree and a Scorpio Ascendant at 28 degrees. And even though the signs are compatible by sign, you might still have a little conflict of energy, and they might not have as good a blending as otherwise indicated. And even if the person is not cognizant of his or her astrological placements, it can indicate that this person might have some feelings of being misconstrued or misunderstood by others due to the fact that at least what they feel, what's being projected outwardly, may be strongly different than what is going on inside, which could cause some feelings of exasperation and tension in the person. Now, also, that could be true if you have an out of sign inconjunct aspect take place between these energies. Let's say the Pisces Sun is at 29 degrees and the Scorpio Ascendant is at 1 degree. Well, that would form an out of sign inconjunct aspect, which is like what I talked to you about, describe as far as the square aspect goes, which could be adverse or adversarial, and you may not have quite that good integration as otherwise indicated, even though the signs are still compatible by sign, which is one positive thing, and you got to factor that into the equation as well. Well, anyway, it's also important to look at the house placement of the Sun in Pisces, because even though the Scorpio rising energy may suppress this Pisces Sun energy to some degree, at least superficially, the Sun in Pisces can still come out at least somewhat prominently in that particular house that it is posited in. Now, let's say that the Pisces Sun is in the 4th house. Well, the 4th house is an angular house, so this energy may come out a little bit stronger as opposed to it, say, being in the 5th or 6th house. And the Pisces Sun is in the 4th house. You might see this idealistic quality, maybe a little bit of this Pisces ambivalence, maybe some confusion come out in their home and family life, and this could be where this person shows more of their Pisces Sun characteristics more strongly, as opposed to other aspects of their life. Now, let's say that the Pisces Sun is posited in the 5th house. Well, this person may show that their Pisces Sun demeanor a little bit more, perhaps in matters connected with love and romance and in their hobbies. That more passive Pisces side may come out, that strong self-sacrificing nature, and that idealistic Pisces side might come out in those matters strongly. And if the Sun in Pisces is posited in the 6th house, well, this person might show that strong self-sacrificing quality and that perhaps some ability to overlook transgressions of others and really have maybe that real strong that even possibly the metaphysical, if they are interested in that idealistic nature, might come out in matters pertaining to their work, their service, and their health. The health could be something where they might show a lot of Pisces sensitivity and compassion with. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for having a Pisces Sun and a Scorpio Ascendant in a natal chart. And stay tuned next time, where I'll be dissertating and talking about having a Pisces Sun and a Sagittarius Ascendant in the natal chart. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone. Because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.